Hello and welcome back. Thanks for checking in and thanks for bearing with us. It's been a long time since our last video and we thought we'll give you a real-time update on what's happening here on Polaris. We have arrived in our winter berth, which is in a small place about 300 nautical miles north of the Arctic Circle. It's Sunday, the 10th of November, 2:30 in the afternoon, and you see, it's quite dark outside already. Okay, the sky is covered, but that doesn't help a lot, because in about 45 minutes, the sun will set up here. That's how it is up here, and by the end of the month, the sun will have set for 2 months, and we will dive into the dark polar night. In the last few weeks, we took a break to visit family and friends in Switzerland, who we haven't seen for the last 10 months, and there was also some business to be done. We enjoyed the colorful Arctic autumn, which was beautiful. We did some walks in the woods and hills around the area. We experienced our first northern lights. And most recently, we experienced our first snowfall, which was quite plentiful here, about 50 centimeters in 2 days. We will document our Arctic adventure in our future episodes, so if you're interested, stay tuned. But now, let's go back to the summer. Let's go back to June, where we crossed the mighty Westfjorden from our scenic anchorage on Brunvær to Svolvær, the capital of the Lofoten. Good morning from this wonderful, secluded and calm anchorage in Hjelløya. We spent a wonderful night here, just with one other boat and many birds, plenty of birds around, and in particular there's an eagle just over there on the little hill, sitting on top looking for some fish, I think. We missed it twice when it flew past the boat, so it's quite spectacular. Now today is a short one. Let's have a quick look on the chart. From Hjelløya to Helnessund, it's about 14 nautical miles. There's hardly any wind today. I don't expect a lot, so it probably will be motoring. That's just out of the anchorage here, and then along this little group of islands up to that lighthouse across. Then there's another few skerries. There's an anchorage which we're gonna have a look at, but that's too close for us for today, but it would be an option. And then up here and into this place called Helnessund, and there's a pontoon, so we try to get that pontoon for tonight.
Thirsty? Gut, du bist frei.
And in the back, maybe not very visible on the camera, we see the jagged coastline of the Lofoten. Impressive.
I think there are the birds.
So this was a good fishing spot, but not for the fish we wanted. I wanted a cod, and we had a lot of small sails, which I don't like particularly, and but every time I just dropped the lure there was a bite, so there must be a massive swarm down there. So we let them go. I won't caught. When we left Bergen, we were quite nervous sailing close to the shorelines and through narrow fjords. But now we got used to the signage, and we also got used to sailing much closer to the rocks and just enjoy the beautiful scenery. And at our next stop, I finally get what I want. A decently sized cod. Oh, beauty! Look at that!
Super.
Whenever possible, I try to gut and fillet the fish right on the spot and deliver some ready to cook fillets to the galley. And every time the seagulls are happy receivers of the rest.
De er mørke til.
And now that dinner is sorted, we approach the guest pontoon at Helnessund, where we intend to spend the night. We're leaving Helnessund, nice little place. We spent a good night and had a nice walk yesterday. We paid 400 kroners for a night, which seems quite steep, but you get water, electricity, showers and the washing machine for free. So the washing machine is worth quite a bit. We had, I think, 5 machines full, which would normally cost about 250 kroner as well. So we're fine with that. Everything was super clean and the people, again, super friendly, so highly recommended this place. Today we're gonna have a leg of 27 nautical miles into an anchorage called Trollvika. The weather is slightly overcast, but and some drops at times, but it should remain fair. Not a lot of wind, so it's probably all going to be all motoring 4 hours, and we're there before then. Tomorrow we cross over to Lofoten. Out in the distance, about 20 nautical miles, Lofoten. Dive Master Catherine is preparing.
11 degrees.
For some time during the last days, I had felt some strange vibrations coming from the drive unit when we were motoring. In addition, after 3 months, it is time to check the sacrificial anodes on the propeller, which generally last about that long. So, this anchorage is the perfect place for an inspection dive, and Catherine, being used to swimming cold water, gladly volunteers for the job.
You want to try?
My instinct was correct. Shortly after diving down, Catherine emerges with the culprit of the vibrations in her hands. This protective rubber flap around the drive leg, which is normally glued to the hull, came loose and got chewed up by the rope cutter.
So Catherine now tries to take out the bolts.
Also, as expected, the sacrificial propeller anodes were completely consumed.
How does it work?
Het gaat.
Got?
Ja, wie gaat vast. Ingestikt.
Being quite a competitive lady, we have to be careful that Catherine doesn't become hypothermic. Mind you, the water is only 11 degrees.
Ja, snoeven is het probleem.
As you can see, we give our best to document this operation also from below the surface. For this purpose, Catherine wears the GoPro camera on her head.
Oh, GoPro is abgehakt.
Too late! Here goes the GoPro down the drain. And with all the interesting footage collected so far. Oh well, we're not the first YouTubers who sacrificed their gear to King Neptune.
Wärmst es dann auf?
Remember hypothermia? Time for a dress change.
How is that, Dive Master?
I'm not sure.
Catherine still thinks we can do this. It is her first time in a wetsuit and she is skeptical about the weight belt.
Komt runter. Can you get down?
Ik weet niet. Moet wel lukken.
Okay. Also, what's the tool?
Ja.
As was to be expected, she has no chance without some additional dive weights. Remember hypothermia? Now it's time for a relief, as Catherine's fingers start to become stiff. Properly dressed, taking off the remaining bolts and anodes was a quick job. But when I wanted to fit the new anodes, I discovered that back in spring I had ordered the wrong size. We spare you the swearing that emerged from this discovery.
It is 9:30 in the evening. And look at this calm, beautiful anchorage we're in. It's just an absolute beauty. Flat calm. Over there in the background we see the Lofoten and probably the sun, which is actually just over there somewhere. Over there. It will probably just kiss the crest of the Lofoten mountains tonight. It won't go further down, I think. I might stay up and see. It's 11:30 in the evening. Look at that. The golden hour. Morning, it's Sunday morning, I think the 16th of June, and we're just leaving this wonderful magical anchorage. There's a little bit of wind today, and we're crossing Westfjorden, across to Svolvær. It's about 20 nautical miles or so, so a short sail, a couple of hours, and we should have a nice beam wind from the northeast, so right from the side. So I hope it's going to be some sailing wind. It's still a bit weak in here, it's about 6 knots, but I hope that outside, once we're on the open water, it will freshen up a bit so that we can sail.
And so it did. We enjoy an exciting sail across Westfjord.
We're almost on course over to Svolvær to pick up our son Noah and our daughter-in-law Cynthia tomorrow in the evening. It's beautiful weather today, and it's a nice breeze. It's about 10 knots that we have right from the beam. I'm going to correct the course now onto the right line, and then it's going to be a lovely sail just across Westfjorden. This is the island of Skrova. And straight ahead of us we see Svolvær. The wind has now come down quite a bit. We're about 8 to 9 knots in here, but we're also behind these mountains over here. So that's probably also what stops the wind a bit. We just have to cut through that narrow gap here, and then it's cross over to Svolvær and we're in. Now we're just behind this mountain here, and also looking ahead, it looks quite flat. The wind has completely stopped, and I think we're going to put on the engine now for the last 1.5 miles or so.
Give it another try.
Yes, give it another try. It's
How much wind do we have?
Oh, about 7 knots.
But in the end, there was not enough wind for us.
You can smell the fish.
We are quite late in the season, and normally the dried fish has been harvested and sent to the destination to become bacalhau for the tourists in Portugal. Here we only see the dried heads of said fish. We were told that there is a market for them in Nigeria, so that's where they are being exported to.
It's very shallow in there. We're around just slightly off the high water, and we have 2.3 meters roughly of tide. But the minimum levels over there, they were indicated at the pontoons, they were 2 meters or less, which is not enough for us. So we can't go there, and we now go around the island. I just have to find the way, and so space in here is quite restricted. The only space we have is actually the one we tried over there. In here, that's all private, we can't go. would have a nice depth, but we can't. And over there...
Finding a berth in the harbour of Svolvær was not straightforward for us. First, we tried the official guest pontoon, but the depth markings on the pontoons did only suggest marginal depth at low water. So we tried another part of the harbour, just to find out that all the guest spaces had already been taken. So back to square one, take a deep breath and carefully sneak into a space that promised enough depth for Polaris for the days to come.